is always trying to ice skate uphill.
Well, welcome back, Michael. I have missed your luscious voice. How are you today?
Good. How you do, Joe?
I am doing exceptional, which is actually a complete lie, but I'm gonna own it and I'm gonna pretend it. I don't know, Mike. I had one of those weird days where I woke up this morning and my body said, "Do not get out of bed. This is so comfortable. You should just stay here and sleep."
I had a dream about work last night, about being late to work today. And then it had segments in the dream of actual things we had going on at work today. So I was like, I woke up going, whoa, that was a little real.
This is too real. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, man, now my brain's going.
You're right. Get to work. Did this been done yet? Mike, no one's even here. Shit.
We got 3 overseas containers coming in. What? I can't take off.
That's funny. It's funny what the mind will do sometimes. You just kind of, it is what it is. It's its own little beast,
Yeah, I should have called off.
right? I should have just called in asleep, but I didn't do
Yeah,
it.
really.
Powered through. So, Mike, I've been thinking lately, and I got a question for you. For tonight, I pose this: do you, in your knowing, mythical mind of experience. When you look around the world and you see kind of where things have progressed, regressed, call you whatever you want, over the last almost 50 years now, you know what your childhood was like. You've seen younger siblings grow up and even level of people in between us and our children come
Nice way to put it.
through the ringer, right? As they're still trying to figure out their place in the world. If your son were to come to you in a handful of years, okay, after his life is, so we say, defined, he's found his purpose, right? He maybe he has a spouse, he might be married, but not like tomorrow type of deal. So he's out of high school, hit that phase where they're maturing, okay? We'll say
Mhm.
early to mid-20s. 25, good number. We'll throw out 25,
Beautiful.
okay? Comes to you and says, "Dad, me and" I'm gonna say Dom looks like he'd go for an amber. I don't know why, but I could see that. A true Irish redhead that will run him through the mill, and it'll be great. All right? So we're gonna say,
That's
"Dad,
my boy.
me and Amber have been thinking. We've been talking, and we don't know if we should have kids. What do you think, Dad? Do you think we should bring kids into this world?
Mm.
What would you think on that?" And now I'm not looking at saying look over at your kid like I would do, because again, we both have young children that will be out of high school in only a couple years. So this isn't something that's far off into the future. But I'm not gonna look at them and be like, well, my child's drooling right now while they're trying to sip a cup of milk. So I'm thinking they just shouldn't raise anything. A cat is about as far as they should go because they can take care of themselves. Dog might end up
Mm.
eating a child one day if they forget to feed themselves. So I'm not talking about the mental dexterity to raise a living being. All right.
I got you.
Okay, so I'm talking about the world that child will be placed into. What do you think your gut would be? Because I've internalized this conversation with myself, which is a scary thing when I don't know why, but I've sat around and be like, I think there's days where I would just tell my daughter. So I'm not going to get into my view yet because I want to hear you talk about it. But I have thought about it as I've seen things, and I don't make my view on it based on any single person in this world right now, right? I'm not
Right.
gonna say, "Oh my god, I hate the president, so we shouldn't have kids," or "There's no one that's ever gonna run," vice versa. Nothing like that. Looking at holistically, right? Big picture. And obviously there is the carefulness. You can't be like, "No one should ever procreate again," because, well, okay, then that would be the end of civilization, and we don't want that. So, all right,
All
I'm
right.
done spewing. Let me hear your thoughts.
So my son comes up to me at the age of 25. Said, Dad, Amber and I getting married, and we're thinking about having kids. First off, I'm not gonna lie, I'd be excited as shit because me as a grandpa, man, watch out. I'm gonna let that kid do whatever I didn't let my son do, and him and his wife are gonna hate me for it, but that's okay. It'll be a love-hate relationship. But as far as the mentality of the kid, of course, you and I both know that judging how they are now, I mean, it's like going back to you and I when we were 17 and 16 and 15. It's like, would we trust ourselves at that point? I mean, I knew I wanted to have kids as we were getting older. It was always kind of like in the play realm of thought
Yeah.
that
Yep.
that's the path that we both were going someday.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but my son now isn't really even thinking about that. Right now, he's talking about like his journalism paper that he's writing right now, things like that. But as far as should they, in the world we are today, I am a 100%, as long as you are ready for the challenge, as long as you feel you're ready for the disappointment, the fear, the sleepless nights, sleepless days, the
Yeah.
exhaustion, the terrorizing feeling inside your chest when things don't go right. If you feel that you can not really feel you can take it on all right now, but know that you have the fortitude to be able to navigate that shit from despair to unadult, just gush love. As you well know, dude, being a parent it's harder than marriage. It's a good parent is one that is always afraid that they're doing it right. Now I've fucked up plenty of times. I'm not going to go into details, but I know I've stood back many times as a parent and said, I could
Oops.
have done that better, or I
Yeah.
shouldn't have said that, or maybe I should have gone this direction. Yeah, that's a tough one because you do have to look at, like, I have friends that live over in Germany right now. Their husband
American?
is well, my friend is American, and
Okay.
she's married to a German, and they're living over in Germany right now. And she and he both want to move back to the States, but they don't want to do so right now because of the political climate and what's going on. Because he would be an immigrant, so that's keeping them from raising their kids here. But yeah, it's should my kids have kids? I would hope that the answer would be hell yeah, but I think that I would scare the shit out of them first. I remember being on a dock at work one day, and I remember a guy, that I worked with, he still works there with me in a different department, that him and his girl, recently had become pregnant, and one of the elders of the job, they're now retired and passed on, but he went on to this evangelical, "Oh, kids are such a blessing," and I'm a realist, and as soon as he walked away, I looked at this guy, Jason, and I went, "Now I'm gonna tell you the truth. He's not wrong. You're gonna love a lot of those moments with the kid." I go, "But there are gonna be some days, dude, you're gonna wanna smother that child. You are going to be at your wit's end, but what separates us from wild animals is the fortitude to think past that, to be able to control those feelings of despair and dread and move past it. And you're going to get pissed on. You're going to get shit on your fingers. It's going to happen. But you have to know that through those dozen dreaded moments that are going to smell up your bedroom and your house and slobber and spit up all over your shirt. It only takes one moment of a few seconds, a smile, a giggle, a first word that makes all of that shit worth it. Just don't move on the angry stuff.
And you're not a lion, don't eat your child.
Yeah, I was like, if you can make it through that hard shit and you have the fortitude to handle the dookie on the fingers and the kid pissing in your face and or you throwing up all over your car, if you can handle that and the back talking and the nastiness,
So, Mike, you got a lot of focus on the dookie on your finger. So I'm guessing you had some poopy fingers with the boy when he was a baby.
that child was a back flipper. Man, I don't know
Oh,
how many feet I had to pre-clean and after clean and how many times. Yeah, I once went straight into rubber gloves for a while.
that's
Yeah,
funny. That
yeah,
is
he
funny.
was a flipper. Every time you lay him down, he did that back arch thing and like kicked the leg. My son, he was a big kid, so he was strong right off the womb, man. He was kicking baseballs across him. Jesus. Yeah, yeah, I think my son would be a prime candidate for fatherhood, and I think Yes, especially what I know of. Now your boy.
Hey, listen here. I think my buy would be better than my daughter. So it's my
If I
chance.
were to judge them, if I were to judge them at this point in time, right now, from the last time we hung out, yeah, you're probably right.
He's got more of that in him than she does. But so okay, I'm gonna touch on a little bit of what you talked about. All right. I'm gonna agree with the good bulk of what you said. Yes, the biggest thing in my heart would be yes, 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 because I want grandkids to spoil the crap out of. I've got that pipe dream in my mind that I want to save and be prepared for retirement in such a way that whatever is left for Social Security when we get there is something that's not needed in any iota of a meaning, and that is grandpa's mad money. I want to be able to call the kids up and be like, guess what? Check came in the mail. Who wants to go see Mickey? We got this much money to spend in the next 30 days, kids. It'll be for enlightening their and again, part of that may just be putting in savings for them. It may be this and that, whatever, but it's yeah, that the thought of being able to take a child and spoil it and just be a free, loving, fun, old hippie, whatever you wanna call it, and then
Yeah.
send them home. Just my god, that sounds like the greatest thing ever, because you're right. Yeah, there are times where you look at a child and be like, I made you. I can get rid of you and make another one. Try again. I bet I can find the part of that wall that doesn't have a 2 by 4 behind it and put your head through it." And then, even more often than that, you wanna look at the wall and be like, "Alright, I'm gonna put my own head into it and make sure I find the stud so I knock myself out," right? But you're right, Mike. I mean, as a baby, that first walk, the goo, the laugh, it is the greatest shit ever. It really is. If I see someone out with babies in public and a baby makes eye contact with me, mush immediately, goo goo gaga. If I can make this kid laugh from afar, that's like the new goal in life, right? And when the kid starts getting into it, and they're all happy, and then the parents like, what the hell? And they look over and they see some guy that doesn't look too creepy that's just making weird faces at their kid, trying to make them smile, then you end up making an adult smile, which is even kinda cool too, right? Because they know,
Yeah.
"Oh, yes, my kid is enjoying life," and all that kinda stuff. I mean, so that and the growth and knowing that you're gonna have somebody to be there for you and take care of you when you get older, and know your kids are gonna have, hopefully, a child that they've raised properly to take care of them when they get older. All that is the greatest joys, you're right. It is the greatest fears, obviously. Every time my kids are out of sight, I do hope nothing ever happens to them. To hear about something happening to a child is the worst thing ever for anybody. Just, these whole hell, we talked about this last week quite a bit with the officer that was here. These kids run around with, e-bikes and all that crazy shit now. Like, we had a child here, I don't know the full age of him, but he just died this morning because he was riding on an e-bike, he hit a car,
Oh
and I
man.
think he ended up going underneath, like, got caught underneath the car, and he ended up passing away, and all I can think now is that those parents, that could be any one of us, all you're thinking is, like, your kid's going out for a ride, and you don't know what could happen. That is the fear, and that could have always happened even when we were kids on a regular bike because we did stupid things too, right?
We did a lot of stupid shit.
You just hope that it never happens. You hate to see old people die, but you really hate to see young people die because, again, they haven't had the chance to live their life, and it's always tragic in every manner. So you have that fear. You already said that nagging fear is always gonna be there. If I'm not the one protecting my child, oh, no. But again, to watch them mature and grow and change is the coolest shit ever too. I mean, I look back at pictures that show up on my kitchen of your kid and mine at,
Mm.
like, Disney 7 or whatever years ago, and you're like, "Oh my god, they were so tiny," and you're like, "Who the hell are these kids?" It's the coolest thing ever, and then you realize how fast it went. So in that manner, I agree with you. Yes, I would give them the, "Hey, this is the pros and cons, make the decision for yourself. It's an amazing thing. They're expensive as hell, but they're worth their weight in gold, and they always will be, I hope. Don't raise
Yeah.
Dahmer." But, you can only go so far, right? But then I
Yeah,
look
yeah.
at I look at something that is my emotional feeling toward this entire subject, and it's always been that way. I've always had a enjoyed the kids. I've always wanted them, even when I was younger. Thought about being a teacher at one point because I thought the younger ages would just be a cool thing to help mold and and teach the younger kids because they're fun. It's a great age, even when they're not being a smartass. But what scares me, Mike, and this is part of the reason I brought this question up tonight, is when I also look at the world we live in and I see how much it's changed and not for the better since we were kids. When I look at world social economic issues, AI, the talk of robots being in every house within 5 years and taking over and having to have universal income because no one's going to need to work outside of a handful of jobs and all that kind of stuff. And then I see how ingrained things like social media, the phone, and it's just getting more and more. And we're losing I am afraid that human species is losing its, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost like we don't know who we are anymore. We're losing our
Direction.
yeah, but even yeah, it's like it's not the same world as always been. That compassion, the empathy is getting less and less. We are more interested in staring at a screen or multiple screens at the same time. Just like you mentioned it a few weeks ago. You talk about the what is it, incels? Mike, I saw an article today. I shit you not. There is a new restaurant opening in New York City that got its permits and everything for people that want to go on a dinner date with their AI spouse. So it is built so they can eat dinner while staring at a screen with their AI relationship. Like, blow my mind. Are you out of your gourd? What is going on with this world? So I see stuff like that and not only do I feel this fear of how close we're getting with hatred within our own species across the world, especially at home right now, but I think like, I'm not afraid of this big left, right, whatever mix that's going on right now. I don't foresee that continuing on forever. I think we're going to come together again and things will in the next 10 years, I think we'll actually be a closer country than we've been for a long time. I don't know what's gonna cause that yet, but I think it's coming, and I just hope it isn't because of something as bad as, like, 9/11. But I just think we're gonna this separation that we have now, I think that is going to mend itself organically, and I'm not afraid of that. But when I look at the larger picture, you see just the weirdness of Russia attacking Ukraine because they want their land back as long as they've been independent, and really, the rest of the world almost doesn't care. It's more to the point of if we give arms and say bad, 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 but we'll still let you guys just fight it out instead of stopping it. And there's more and more of that. So that the fast pace of technology, what my fear would be, Mike, is what kind of world would our grandchildren's or will our grandchildren inherit? And will it be hopefully not so fucked up that they don't even want to be here? Do you see what I'm saying? That's another, I mean, different aspect of it, right? When you say that environmental issues don't really exist, and then all of a sudden there's hurricanes hitting Virginia and North Carolina because they're missing all of Florida now, and they're going up to the New Yorks, right? And New York got hit with a
All
hurricane
streams
2
all
years ago.
skewed.
Yeah, I mean, we are I don't care what your scientific religious belief is on global warming or whatnot. It's obvious we're changing this world in a large manner. And at some point, when it gets pissed off enough, it's just going to get rid of us and start all over again. It's done it before. And I just hope that I don't have to either see it or have a emotional connection to a human that is going to have to suffer through that.
I feel you. Allow me to put a little post-it note in your mind. What if that grandchild that you have
Fuck you.
might
I know
be
you're
that one person that could make that change? Not to sound all geeky and Magoo about it, but even though it's highly unlikely, kind of like being the star NFL quarterback and going to the Super Bowl, all that stuff. The unlikeliness of that happening just out of pure social networking or whatever it is, or your dynamics of your family and not having billions of dollars right now. But what if that one child born by choice and wanted is the one that can make that little change, even if it's just a centimeter of change in the right direction, that maybe not today or 50 years from now, But whatever they did in that 5-second realm, or that 50-year realm that they were alive,
They're the
choices they
butterfly effect.
made exactly, that causes a change. So look at things that you've done in your life, and I've looked at things that I've done in my life, not a spectacular life. It's pretty vanilla, to be honest. But at the same time, I know with you and your family and lots of other friends and families, I've had a lot of great experiences. And I know if things came to a crashing in tomorrow, I wouldn't have to look at my life, fortunately, and be like, wow, I really fucked things up.
Yeah.
That's where I come into the optimism of humanity. It's because for every piece of dog shit out there that is attacking innocent people, there's 20 that are trying to bandage them up. So I can only hope that with my genetics that I pass on to my son the caring, and if he sometime decides to have a kid, that energy and that kind of push forward of assist. I don't know. I'm a weird soul, but that's what I look at is, yeah, I get your point. It's scary as shit, but I'll be honest, I was scared like that when we were pregnant with our son. And every parent thinks about it. It's like you guys are not going to have the same childhood, and then you and I are still navigating that. This
Yeah.
social media and like all these people that they're connected to online and the people they listen to is like, where the fuck are you getting these ideas? And then you realize and you watch these people that they're listening to going, man, now you have to do damage control. Or if you're fortunate enough, you get to link up with them and be like, hey, I saw what you were watching because that comment you made the other day and let's talk about that because I kind of agree or I kind of disagree. But let's talk
Yeah.
about why. But as far as the despair of what might be, I have to look at today and 2026, go back to 1826. Is the world a better place today? Today we have all kinds of science and medicine. I mean, by all rights, with all the health issues I had, I should have been like dead like 10 years ago.
Well, we probably will be.
Statistically,
Yeah, in the 1800s, we'd be on death's door regardless.
well, so, I mean, Dave, all the modern advancements, the only thing that's going to kill that is a catastrophic, like earth-bending thing, nuclear war or comet hits the planet or some shit like that. But the fact that you have humans like Russia right now attacking Ukraine, and you've got the Palestinians and Israel doing their thing, and now you got what is it? India and China now are picking on each other. It's like that's been like that since the beginning of humanity with tribalism, and
Yeah.
it's still going on to this day. The problem I see that you're looking at is because we are so well connected now, all that information is thrown in our face in light speed seconds. It's like we can't. It's not like a newspaper back in World War II where you find out how the United States did in a war a week ago. You're
Yeah.
finding it out an hour later, and it can be damaging and scary because we know the atrocities that are happening in the world in real time. And is it really so different than it was 150 years ago? We just know about it sooner.
Good. I
And to
mean,
be honest, I think we're a lot more civilized and have been for the past 100 years, all because of the fact that if I do something, I'm going to find out, as people are finding out with the Epstein files right now. They fucked around and now they're finding out.
there are no files. Come on.
Oh, the rest of the world is finding them, Joe, just not the
No
United States.
way. No way. That's fake, man. Come on. He didn't hang
But yes,
himself.
so staying on subject, I totally get you, but I would hope it's kind of like when you have hope for a candidate in your neighborhood or president or something like that. When you see somebody that sparks you, that has
Mhm.
ideas that well, you might not always know, but you can see the good in them and where they might be going this and the possibilities of what that could bring to the future. You have to wonder if that one little sprite of life that's going to be sprouted from your catalog of genetics might be that one that changes the world or ends it like a
Damn it, you
domino.
took my line, you ass. I was good. That's what I wanted to say. All right, Michael, what if your third generation spawn is the last step in the carbon footprint that just ends all of humanity?
Well, then I'm going to put in a memoir in my safe. What a decent human being I was. I
Don't
had
blame
nothing to do. This came from my biological dad's bullshit.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, based on some of the stuff that you were saying, what kinda, like, tugs at me sometimes, though, is there was no moment that I can say when my wife was pregnant or my children were still in diapers, where I ever looked at them and said, "I hope it's not as bad as I think it's gonna be. I'm afraid of what you might have to deal with." That never entered my mind. All I saw was potential, and the world is a great place. It's got its, crap in it, but everything, left, there's a right, and that's just kinda how everything goes in it, versus now there are inklings where I'm like, there's a much higher percentage that they get a shit sandwich, I think. And is it better than it was 100, 200 years ago? Yes. Do we still have a long way to go? Of
Oh,
course we do.
yes.
Always know that though. Again, it's like everything else. So you can always improve on yourself. We can always improve on the world. And I agree with you. I hope that I've raised my kids and continue to raise them in a way that they foster the correct direction so that our grandkids do inherit a wonderful world. And as much as I think Musk is a crazy man, if it's them
Mhm.
living on the moon or Mars or whatever it takes to sustain life and expand it, then that's just great as long as it is not because we totally destroyed this one. I mean, which is
Yeah.
that's part of my fear is that we have to somehow leave because we fucked up and we're just gonna go destroy something else. Because that is unfortunately, it is our nature. Our nature is too. Humans are the worst species that exists on this planet when it comes to we territorial just destroy for not just for food. Like,
Right,
yeah,
and right now, the killing of the buffalo out west in the United States, now it's the let's overconsume oil fields and rape the American public of all their finances.
yeah, and we may find the route to come back from that, which is great, would be awesome, and yeah, and I hope that that happens. I have that fear, and I hate that I have that fear because, yes, like I said, I wanna be the fun grandparent, and it would be great to see a child raised again and go through all those fun things and not have to be the one that's up at night for it, and, "Hey, sorry."
Yeah.
The cliche of, "I love children as long as I can return them to some of their parents." Yes, that sounds exactly awesome. Love it. I wanna do that. I just hope we're not and again, I look at some of the things, I'm like, not that I ever actually dwell on this, but we're also become the type of people nowadays to where we could sit down and be like, "If I did X, Y, and Z, it would make my neighborhood and the world a better place." But this reality TV show is fantastic. I'm just gonna sit back and crack open a beer.
Yes.
And there's too much of that. I think, when you see people out there, like, you see people out there just picking up trash or doing stuff, and they're not in an orange jumpsuit. A kid might be like, look at that guy." But now as an adult, you're like, "Why am I not doing that?" I'm, almost jealous that this person thinks that way in their heart, and you're like, "Yeah, am I not a good person? I mean, I'm just
It's
lazy. I mean, it doesn't."
everybody gets lazy, but when you I've always taken and I'm trying like hell to pass it on to my son, but he's got one major task every day: empty the damn dishwasher. Hey, Dom, if you can listen to this podcast, did you empty the damn dishwasher? Anyway, things like this last winter storm that we had. I mean, it wasn't a blizzard or any catastrophic thing that you were Northeast Ohio and we got hit by like 8 to 12 inches, depending on what area you were. And I have a lot of elderly people and younger couples that live on our block. I have a giant snow thrower, and I get all suited up, and I have a little driveway. It's a little driveway. I bought that thing when I had a giant drive. Well, I don't need this giant thing, so at least I might as well use it. So to pay it on, to make somebody have a decent day. Like I saw my neighbor 4 houses down, she was struggling with her shovel, and I got down to her area because I was doing the sidewalks and on our entire block. And I got to her, and she was trying to dig her poor car out, and I pulled up with my snow thrower, and I said, "Hey, lady, this is way easier. Move out." And I finished digging her out, and then I did most of the street that didn't already do theirs and stuff. It's because I know the younger groups don't have the means right now to probably have a machine like that, and the older people just don't have the physical ability to do such.
Yeah.
And it's the younger people, if they see me do that, it's not it gets to me knowing that they'll see that and that maybe someday they'll be living on a street somewhere and they'll be like, "I remember that dude. What? I'm gonna do that." That kind of shit.
Yeah.
That's what gets me jazzed about just doing a solid favor. I had neighbors that I dug them out and or I did their lawn because it's had a new baby. I was mowing their front lawn for them because I had a tractor. I mean, driving a tractor, and they had a push mower, and we had a half-acre lots. So I would just zip across, and I'd do their front lawn, keep it tidy for them and stuff while they were
Yeah.
enjoying time for their baby, and they came across with a gift card, and I said, Don't ruin it." I go, "It's just a solid. That's all it is. Doing you guys a favor. Don't." I go, "I'm not gonna post about it on Facebook, look what I did. I just take your gift." And they, "No, take it." I'm like, "All right, I'll take it this time, but after this, just say thank you. That's it. High five. Let's go team."
If
And,
you ever see my yard getting shaggy and you feel like you wanna mow both, go for it.
yeah, yeah, I was but, I and that's one thing that scared me is trying to teach my son that favors should not be contractual. Unfortunately, a lot of humanity has turned into that. I mean, you look at the current administration; it's all quick quid pro quo. I'll do this for you if you stroke my ass.
Yeah.
Like I'll cancel this show if you give me the licensing I need. Like what? That's not how this is done. But I guess this is how it's done. But to teach my son not to be that person, am I doing him a disservice? Because as you and I both know, if you don't have that killer instinct, how do you balance out assholes and good people? How do you combine the 2? I'm asking a
Wow.
question.
Damn it, Mike. See, now the problem is you just put another thought in my mind, is because there usually was a balance to a point. Yes,
Yeah.
if you wanna get to a certain level in life, unfortunately, 90% of the time, you need to just stomp on other people to get there, and that's just the way it is. People step on heads to get higher and higher and higher. Doesn't mean that kindness will never reward you, 'cause it does happen out there. It's just not, unfortunately, as frequent as it is for the people that are bull in a china shop going for what they want, right? But that does beg the question, though, of as technology continues to advance so rapidly, that workforce is going to diminish. So now, who do you think is gonna fill a lot of that workforce or are gonna be left in a lot of it? Is it going to be the pacifist people that just go with the flow? Or is it gonna be mostly the head stompers? I don't know. But, that's either gonna bring up another potential fear, or again, it's gonna turn into, like, I've heard, I believe it was Bill Gates that said it, that this whole universal income thing is gonna come to a point to where almost like companies are paying people a certain stipend of money that's a livable wage because people spend the money at the company. All the stuff being worked at the company is a robot owned by this company. So you're paying the company their own money back in reality. And then the company is giving you a percentage of that back to whatever while they keep more of it and continue to grow. But that universal wage is coming from these new tax brackets that are one day gonna maybe will actually tax businesses properly. I don't know. To a point to where it then trickles back instead of all to the government, to the people. His view is that actually doesn't negatively impact any company, even if you're taxing them at this exorbitant rate, because all the money you're spending is going right back to them anyway, because it's going to be continue to consolidate down to more and more of that. So it's that begs the other potential of we could end up with the power struggle could turn even more toward the passionate ones that will do anything to get ahead. And unfortunately, like I said, they're not always the better people that do that because they want the higher seat at the table. And again, it's not always bad people that are doing that either. It's an interesting thing. I was watching some stuff on the Olympics recently, right?
Mhm.
And you just see people getting their medals and all that, and people are competing and winning and all that, and part of me went, "There's not a lot of ugly people in the Olympics."
No.
I'm not saying they're all gorgeous, model worthy, whatever, a lot of them actually are very good looking people, but then you realize I thought about it, I'm like, "Why? Why?" And like, well, if you think about even childhood and everything as you go and grow up, the people that push themselves towards something that they want to strive in further and harder than anybody else to reach that level of, elation in business or in any sort of sport, they're just, I mean, they're in the sport realm, they are always bettering their self physically. on what they're trying to do. Yeah, it shouldn't be a shock that most of them are, for lack of a better term, good-looking people because they're doing everything that you would do. They're eating properly, they're working out, they're exercising, and it just elevates to that proper level. Like the person who just goes to a gym constantly who is, construction worker that can bend steel because that's what he loves to do and he's amazing at it. Versus the lazy people that sit on a couch and eat bags and bags of Doritos. Well, yeah. Guess what?
Yeah.
If you spent every waking moment speed skating, you're gonna go from a couch blob to, oh my God, some beautiful looking being, healthy at least in that
Mhm.
in the sense of not saying us big people are not beautiful and all that shit. I'm not going there, but in the sense of, you know
A
what I mean.
healthy body and mind on set.
Exact. And it's the same in business, right? You might not have to be physically good looking, but if you have the drive and you push it and push it, there are a lot of ugly people out there that are massively, massively successful. Bill Gates, who used to be the richest and not a good looking dude. Dude,
No.
Elon Musk is pretty fugly, honestly. He's a weird looking guy. But he's just as average as you can be pretty much, and there are extremely wealthy, successful people that are also could be models if they wanted to. But there's when it comes to that, looks doesn't quite define you as much as drive and motivation, and I hope that I know we've skewed on the topic a little bit, I don't know, but
Oh,
I just
no,
hope
it's gonna connect. It's gonna connect.
but you know what I mean? I hope we're not going into a world also, which would be just another potential fear, where the majority of who's running everything, even more than we have now, are only the power driven that only care about themselves in their tiny little circle and don't care about the greater good. Now, hell, I could be completely wrong also, Mike. And what if there's less work that we actually have to do in our days? The Olympics in 40 years might be ridiculous because the field of people competing for it might be everyone's got so much time that
Yeah.
you know
I'm gonna
all
take
this
up speed skating. Why? I got nothing
yeah.
else to do.
Exactly. It might push us to a whole new level that we cannot comprehend right now in ways that, either that or God forbid we end up full-born idiocracy, and that's the world that I would not want my child to bring a child into, the idiocracy side. So it's gonna go
I feel you.
there's 2 extremes is what I'm afraid of, and I just hope we don't go to the the wrong extreme where it's watering your grass with Gatorade and mad that it's not growing.
So I'll be honest, I had to look this up because, I had a vision of the movie The Time Machine, Eloy and the Morlocks. That's the utopian vision I have is the troglodyte, cyst-filled bastion billionaires will be the ones that will go underground and feed on the Eloys.
My god.
They will give them the berries and they'll all be beautiful, but then they will eat them underground. That's just a vision I got. But the thing is will humanity have a place in the future with where technology is going? And do we feel that bringing another human being into this world would be worth it for our children to do? Obviously, the plain answer is, well, that's up to our kids. But if I got to choose whether my child had a child and thought that they were capable of handling that responsibility, which, to be honest, most people in this world are questionable parents. Most, even
Yep,
the ones that claim to be great. I mean, I'm not a great parent, but we do our best.
exactly. You parent with
Yeah, yeah. But the thing that would scare me most is, like you said, if the future generations don't procreate, it eventually will fall to the downfall of the human race. But it's the idea that the odds of the vast size of the universe and the insurmountable odds, our genetics, yours and mine, and everybody else that we know and love around us, even exist on this planet
oh, dude.
is absolutely you can't even calculate it. The odds are mind blowing, like in the trillions and trillions of possibilities that we even exist here. So to rob anybody of that experience, if they so choose to want to bring somebody in, I don't know, man. I say fuck it. See if you grab that ace of spades.
True, man. I like that. I had a buddy once in high school. He told me, he's like, someone once told me something when I don't know if they were really high or tripping balls. I don't forget what he said the instance was. Like, but I remember sitting down and having this conversation, and someone was like, "Man, if you think of the overall span of every sperm your father creates and X number of eggs your mom creates, and then you take the fact that between all that chances, and then one nut happens,
Yeah.
and then one of those makes its way all the way in and creates a living being, and as the cells split in every possible thing that could happen at that moment, it ended up creating you and just you because it could have gone anything could change. It could be completely different. He's like, the odds and he was like, "Whoa, man, that blew my mind." Yeah, I pretty much it ruined my high, but he goes like, "I think I thought about it way too long," he was saying. It was great. But you're right. It is it's a better chance of you winning the lottery than actually existing as exactly you are against all the odds and, the numbers that are out there. And I think, Mike, if we had this conversation in 10 years at 2036, we might have completely different views. Or our views might be a lot more finite because we'd be like, well, the world has gone in this path and it's learned from X, Y, and Z, so, like, God, I want there to be grandchildren and youngers to continue this. Or we might be like, whoa, things have
We're all
gotten way
dying
worse
anyway.
than I ever thought. Don't bring anybody into this because what they're gonna, it's gonna be like coming out of like you're in Fallout and you've come out into a world of crap and you don't want to
Right.
be part of that.
The idea that maybe humanity dying off might be a good idea.
Right. And we again we you don't know. I can't if I could predict the future, Mike, I would be rich. I'm not gonna lie. It would be a different story. So I think what it comes really down to is when you look at this, you could split it in so many different ways. There's gonna be people out there, Mike, who unfortunately have not had a life, and they're gonna be like, anybody would be a fool to bring another one into this world because life sucks and all that. And again, you obviously you're gonna base everything based on your own experiences. Someone who was born with a silver spoon in their mouth and has had nothing but perfection and everything handed to them and easy for their entire life is gonna be like, I'm just gonna pop out babies left and right because the world is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you assume everything is gonna be the exact same as it was for you when you grew up. It can really be a mind fuck in reality because we don't know, and you throw religion on it, it'll get even worse, those views, right? You throw all the other
Yep.
stuff into it, and it just becomes a deeper spiral that you can take this into. And I guess I was wondering, I wanted to bring this up tonight because I didn't know if you had what kind of a finite view you would have. I'm pretty sure I knew what your answer was gonna be about wanting to be a grandparent,
Oh, yeah.
just because I mean, we both have the same personality for that. I cannot wait. I think it'd be fantastic. The older my kids get as they get closer to that point where they could actually do it is one thing. Ask me again in 10 years, ask me again in 20 years, and my view might be astronomically different than it is right now.
Let's hope for the future of goodness.
Yeah, I could tell you right now, there's probably about as much chance as me creating another one of me out there that will still be doing this podcast in 10 years. Not saying it's not possible, anything can happen, right? We all know that. But I can guarantee you I will still be friends with you in 10 years, and
Yes.
we'll probably have this conversation. It's
Look
like, "All
back
right,
on
what do
this
we think?"
going, dude, we're doing this in like holographs now. If, like, all I have to do is zap my molecules to your house and we're chilling in your den.
I don't know if we'll be you think we'll be there? I don't know. I wonder if
No.
we'll ever figure out that type of stuff. 10 years, maybe not, but it'll be probably way easier to get from A to B. God, I
Oh, hell
wish we
yeah.
had bullet trains here, and I could be like, "I don't need to get on a plane, a car, or anything, Mike. Gonna go sit in a bar cart at 250 miles an hour, and I'll be there, I'll be there in 5 hours, but I'll be chilling the whole time."
Oh, yeah. We'll just make the oil companies happy and make them all like diesel powered or some shit.
Right? Whatever. They'll find a way to reap the rewards from it anyway.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Well, Michael, listen, as always, it's enjoyable to talk to you.
Same here, brother.
I do hope that the world continues, or at least finds itself to move down a path so that we do get to be fun-loving grandparents that spoil kids rotten and send them home hyped up with sugar, baby.
Hell yeah.
Woo! Uh,
Till next time, everybody.
Speaking on that note, I'm gonna go hang out with my kids for a little bit.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna get beat up by mine.
I think I think everybody should go hang out with your damn kids. If you don't have any, well, go practice making them. You don't have to do it, just practice because that's the best part of them.
Hell yeah. Good night, everyone.
Alright. Enjoy. Help
Later.
everybody out. Pay it forward. Peace.